what is pedagogy and the different types of pedagogy, and about 7 or 8 learning theories outlines I can able to give. Okay. Learning agility describes how naturally learning new things comes to individuals. That we call it as a very basic technique. So it is important is every individual has to understand how I am learning that. What is my learning, in which situations, what is my learning style, that we first have to clearly understand that. Second one is learning agility helps them to know what to do when they do not know what to do. That's very important. That what is that? Suppose you are going for consulting a doctor, you are waiting for your turn to come when you want to consult a doctor. So you are waiting there. So what do you want to do that time? Most of the people do always, of course, now we have the mobile, we are simply scrolling on this mobile, WhatsApp, other things that. But it is very important to you. Is it important to you to scroll this your WhatsApp, or if it is whenever you do not know what you do have to do, even if you plan something on that, this is the thing I want to learn, that learning agility people always having it in the mind that whenever they find the time to learn, they are always waiting for that opportunity. Even a small gap is there. So that we call it as learning agility helps them to know what to do when they do not know what to do. So if you have the prepared your mind, whenever I have the opportunity, I want to look into that. Suppose you read some book in the mobile. So whenever there is an opportunity, that immediately you can open it, you can continue that read. So that is another definition of learning agility. So professionals with high learning agility continuously seek new challenges and are always trying to receive direct feedback for further improvement their performance, delivering the content, any methodology technique they want to do upon that. So if you have that developing that learning agility, these are the qualities you have to develop over the period of time on that, right? People who have high levels of learning agility seek out and learn from unfamiliar situations. So I know some people is always comfortable with the comfort zone. Say for example, if you are very people working with some examination cell is there, whenever the university examination is coming up, people always work with the exam cell. Yes, initially, yes, every faculty members they want to learn how this examination system is working, exam cell is working. It's okay, fine that. But over the period of time, once you become master in it, that once you complete the learning cycle in that activity, after that you should not stand. You should not stuck with that. You should not stay in that. Once the learning cycle is completed, you learn all the mastery level of the particular activity. For comfortness, you should not be stick on to with that. So you always come once the learning cycle is completed, you have to seek out what's another learning I can start. I can go through the complete learning cycle of every activity on that. That's why I'm talking about this. So whenever you learn, when the learning cycle is completed, when you're going for your comfort zone to another comfort zone, then only your personal growth and development will be there. So when you learn different learning cycles in different areas, whenever there is a new situation comes, new areas come, then you have the ability to immediately sail through it, accept it, or adapt it, or you can able to easily deliver the content in the new situations. So that is one of the another important characteristics of this learning agility. So there are 5 different categories of agilities are there: mental agility, people agility, change agility, results agility, and self-awareness. So basically, agile or agility means be open to the situations. As I told that on the spot, you have to collect the data, chart out your plan, immediately you have to implement that. That agile means you are very dynamic. So new data is coming up, new situations, how quickly you are handling the new situations, unfamiliar situations to give the decisions, we call it as the agile or agility, basically that. So what is the mental agility means? So whenever there is a new situation, so how you think quickly, how fast you can able to retrieve the collect informations, analyze the situations, take the decisions, that we call it as the mental agility. People agility, you have to identify how quickly you can able to identify the individual people's strength and weakness accordingly. You can delegate these responsibilities. That we call it as the people agility. Change agility. Don't get, whenever there is a new change is coming up, don't get upset yourself. For example, whenever you are coming to the campus, college, are you coming to when in your department any of the faculties is not coming in time, or coming all of a sudden in the mornings he applied for the leave or he applied for the leave due to some genuine reasons? When some of your colleagues or some of your HODs says that please go to the first hour to take the class, are we ready to go to the take class at first hour even without preparedness? That's, we call it as a change agility, which means that whenever we come to the campus, we are always prepared to take the first hour or any hour. That we call it as a change agility. See, whenever there is a change is happening, similarly, this take a invigilation duty whenever the university exam is happening there. So you are not in the list. Today's examination list is there. But all of a sudden you got a phone call from these your exam cell people say that somebody is not turned up due to some genuine reasons. Can you please go to the invigilation work? Are we prepared ourselves? Are we ready for that? That we call it, because change is happening. How much we are adapt to the change, that we call it the change agility. Results agility, self-awareness. Self-awareness is very, very important. That self-retrospect. So every day you please analyze yourself. What is my strength? What is my weakness? Where I have to focus more on that. Where I can improve. Where I can develop. So these are the things every day, at the end of the day or at the beginning of the day, you have to do analysis on that. That we call it as, there are 5 differences about this learning agility. So once you know about the self-awareness, what is your strength, what is your weakness, uh, uh, how I can convert my weakness into strength, again that learning will start. So because of that, you strengthen your strength, you are converting your weakness into strength. What are the activities you do, that will become the learning. Of course, yeah, this I'm talking about next to 2020 to 2030, next to 10 years, I'm talking about future is learning, which means that whatever we learned in the past, otherwise I'm asking another question, that whether my PhD, I have completed my PhD in 2007, whether my PhD is valid today. That one question every day I'm asking, that if my PhD is not valid today, I need to do another PhD. Are equivalent to my PhD, I have to publish at least 5 papers in the indexed journals. So we do not know that on future, that even after 2030, even that now this academic bank of credit, they are selling that the students able to deposit their credit wherever they study it, whether it is online, blended mode, wherever it is that. But once you when you deposit this credit in the academic bank of credit, DigiLocker, it is valid only for 7 years. They are telling that after 7 years you cannot redeem the credit, which means that slowly they are introducing the validity of our degrees. So anytime, even at 2030, people may say that your PhD is not valid. So people, they have completed the PhD degree is only valid for 10 years. After 10 years, again we need to do another PhD. Or during these 10 years, we need to at least produce 10 well-indexed, high impact indexed journals. We need to prepare, publish the paper. There may be a chance to become that kind of rules in the universities or UGCs. So that's why I'm telling that the future is learning. So every day we need to do it. Future is not only learning, future is self-learning. Future is personalized learning. So we can't expect the institutions, we can't expect any well-organized forum to facilitate the learning. We can't expect that. So let us not wait, let us not expect anybody to learning has to be happen. That it is the individual's responsibility. So I have to learn, I have to personally, whatever what I want in my life, I want to learn for that. Again, I told you these expectations, we have to fix it up. And coming to this learning and development is that how the people in the organization, the students and the teachers and educational institutions are engaged, they're positive and actively engaged. There are 3 types of engagement: is actively engaged towards achieving your learning goal, and disengaged, this is another type of people there, Another type of engaged, actively disengaged. Actively disengaged means you are scrolling through your mobile, going through these social medias for entertainment purpose, not for learning purpose. So whether you are actively engaged towards achieving your learning goal, or whether you are disengaged, or you are actively disengaged. So actively disengaged is very dangerous. Okay, so you ensure that in the institution, the department, always the teachers and students or learners always ensure that they are actively engaged towards achieving the learning goals. So that we call it as the learning and development. That. So what are the activities we want to do? How do we plan that? What are the different learning experience we want to give? So because every day the situations are continuously changing, that changing job, changing responsibilities, changing career is coming up. So how actively we are engaged to achieve our learning goals, we call it as a learning and development. And learning and development, by engaging that, we need to continuously improve our competence. So what is that competence means? Competence means is the part of knowledge, part of skill, part of talent, part of technology, part of mindset, and part of attitude. The combination of part of knowledge, skill, talent, we call it as the competence, right? So the knowledge, you say that I can categorize into two types. One type is the constant, so far constant, which means that if you say, for example, if you take Newton's third law, for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. So this Newton's third law, so far no scientist or researchers has challenged, which means that even now at this moment, Newton's third law holds good. So far in the world, no scientist researchers challenge the Newton's law. That I call it as the categorized as the so far constant knowledge. Okay, once you master it, you need not worry about it. The second type of category of knowledge, I call it as the continuously changing knowledge, where you have to be alert in your what is your subject domain, what is your specialization. You have to be alert on it. You have to continuously you have to update your knowledge. That is why we call it as this. The same concept, new knowledge is emerged. Same concept, the researchers and scientists challenged. They say that that knowledge is not valid. We are creating a no new knowledge. So that kind of continuously changing knowledge we have to remove from our mind. We have to incorporate our new knowledge for the same concept. This is the way we say that unlearn and relearn. That's the real meaning for unlearn and relearn. Skills is how to do a particular activity step by step. So how much time you practice to become the master in skill matters. So if you want to develop the skill, practice is matters. For every day, how many hours you practice matters a lot. So if you want to become the number one in this world on any particular activity, particular skill, you just Google it. There is a rule called the 10,000 hours rule. Just Google it, 10,000 hours rule. So if you want to become number one in this world, you have to practice for 10,000 hours. So if you want to become achieving your learning goal, how many hours you need to practice? So every day, how many hours you practice, that matters a lot to improve your competency to achieve a learning goal, right? Second one is the talent. Talent is the inborn characteristics of individuals, which we cannot transfer from one person to another person, which we cannot change. It is a fixed. If unless individuals realize that, yes, I need to develop, I need to change on certain independent individual characteristics, nothing will happen on that. So don't worry about that, right? Next one is the technology. So what is the best possible available technology you can be able to learn to improve your to achieve your learning goals? You have to keep on working on that. The mindset I told you about, a fixed mindset, growth mindset, others mindset. There are 4 or 5 different mindsets are there. Let us focus only on 2 mindset: fixed mindset and growth mindset. When you strongly believe that, yes, I have only this is the ability, with this ability I can able to only achieve this, we call it as the fixed mindset. Growth mindset means, yes, I can able to develop, I can, if I do practice, I can able to do. That's a growth mindset. So again, you please go and Google it, the difference between the fixed mindset and growth mindset. You can able to understand that. And the attitude is, yes, are you open to new ideas? Okay, so this again is related to the mindset. So when you want to develop the competency, it's a combination of knowledge, part of skill, part of talent, part of technology, and part of whether you have the mindset or growth mindset and attitude, all these things, combination of that. So you have to continuously develop your competency in terms of all these six attributes to achieve your a learning goal. That we call it as a learning and development. And another is the intellectual curiosity is there. What is that intellectual curiosity? You have to be very alert about what is happening in and around you. And you must continuously ask questions where you did not even know you could ask will get you your seeking answers to questions you did not even know you could ask will get you far in life. The intellectual curiosity is very, very important for the learners, right? And again, coming to this workforce, workplace, there is a beautiful three combination of words. People coin it as work, workplace, workplace. So in all these places, what is required, what is the learning is required. So every place, every work and workforce and workplace, learning is continuously is there. So what is worked in the past will not work in the future, in the present and future. That has to be very clear on that. So we cannot say, sir, last semester we did this, last academic year we practiced like this, we want, no, this year something is changed, we have to go for something new on that. So this is the way very individuals and learning organizations to transform the way they aggregate, create, curate, collect and apply knowledge. And neural network of learning, people, another learning type of learning, people talking about that. So where identify every potential source of learning can be provided on demand to the learner or employee on a device on the demand on demand time and on demand place according to their choice. That's why I told you that anytime, anywhere, any device. Not only the learner can able to access, as the provider, we are ready to available on any device or any time according to the choice of the learner. As a teacher, we have to be available on that. So that we call it as a neural network of learning. These are the new type of learning is coming up in the industries. How best or how far we can able to implement in our teaching learning process. As a teacher, we need to think and we have to utilize that. So this is very unique to every individual, unique to organization. Whatever the practice I do, you cannot do. Whatever the practice you do, I cannot follow that. It's very individualized, customized. Similarly, what one organization are do following, we cannot do it in another organization. So it is the individual's responsibility to sit and think, discuss. You have to find out that what is the device I can able to available with my content and what time available. We have to decide upon that. This we call it as the neural network of learning. This NEP 2020 says that there is a three important components of the blended learning. So one is the face-to-face learning, another one is the self-paced learning, and another is the online collaborative learning. So if you take one particular course, now NEP insists upon not only the 100% classroom learning, it insists upon combination of three areas. So how much weightage we want to give for classroom learning, how much weightage we want to do self-paced learning, how much weightage we want to do on online collaborative learning. For every course we need to decide. So teacher has to decide for taking a course. You need not have, suppose if that is a 5 units are there, teacher need not to teach all the five units inside the classroom. So any three unit teacher can teach in the classroom in person. One unit we can leave it to the students, provide them, guide them, facilitate them how they have to learn their own learning. We need to facilitate all facilities. And another thing we have to do, collaborate with the experts inside the college, outside the college, whatever the possible ways we have to do. So how much weightage we want to do for each course, a teacher has to decide upon that. So this is why we call it as the meaning of the blended learning. This NEP 2020 is expecting from every faculty on that. So yeah, this is what I just give you explanation on that. So face-to-face learning, we know that we do that. This is a self-paced learning. You can go for this MOOC, the internship or video learning or already recorded messages. All this we can able to guide them. And this is online. You can go for this NPTEL, any LMS if you have, or MOOC courses or NPTEL courses in all the students, so that you can able to cover One particular course need not be completely taught by a teacher. Now it is not acceptable. So we have to give the combination of three things. Teacher has to take 60%, 20% student has to do their own, another 20% they go for this collaborative learning. The three types of learning has to be done for each course. And of course, learning culture. Yeah, this is the way learning culture I'm talking about, that learning and development. If you want to create that, every organization, if the learning culture is the lifeline of organization's ecosystem. That so how actively every learner in the organization engaged to achieve the learning performance, that matters a lot. We should not give any room for gossiping. We should not give any space and time for doing any kind of even small kind of politics. We should not allow any space and time for learners to actively disengaged. We need to take a lot of care, and we have to be completely engaged, actively engaged to attain the learning goal. That kind of culture we need to create it. Culture means whenever there is a two or more learners, the students or faculty meeting, what is the topic they discuss that matters a lot. That is a culture. That is we call it as a culture. So whenever there is a two or more faculty, two or more students, or two or more faculty and students meeting, either in the classroom, faculty room, veranda, canteen, wherever it is, or car parking, what is the topic they discussed? That is the culture. That is the meaning of the culture. So now you understand that what is the, whenever you meet the people, what is the topic you are discussing, that matters a lot. And three building blocks of the learning organization. So what is that? One is this, whether the learning organization is supportive learning environment, whether these learning organizations policies, that culture will give support every individuals in terms of psychological safety, appreciation of differences, openness to new ideas, time for reflections, whether this department, the college, it gives that. Second one is concrete learning processes and practices. This conducting the FDP is one of the concrete learning process. So experimentation, information collecting, education and training, this is what. And leadership that reinforces learning, that matters a lot. So whenever you do any kind of activities, that leadership means not only I don't think that whether it is head of the institution, head of the department is the leaders. Every teacher is a leader. Every teacher is the leader. So leader, when I say leader means don't think something else. I am the leader, you are the leader. Every teacher is the leader. That's why I told you leader is a teacher, teacher is a leader. Okay. So because leader means if you have the followers, you are the leader. If you have 50 students to follow, so you are the leader. So every teacher is the leader. And this growth mindset is very, very important for learning. That's why I'm telling that. So individuals who believe their talent can be developed through hard work, good strategies, and input from others, feedback from others, put their more focus and energy on learning. That's only through growth mindset people only can able to do. Fixed mind people cannot do. So there is a good news is there. Anybody can develop the growth mindset. It is not fixed. So anybody can develop growth mindset. So recently, this is one Mr. Sandeep Krishnan had done a lot of research in this LinkedIn profile. In his book recently released 2023, yeah, this last 3 months back, his book released, Purposeful, Finding Greater Meaning and Engagement at Work. He did a lot of research on this LinkedIn profile here. 57 professionals he followed that, because in the LinkedIn they are continuously posting their feed what they newly learned that. Then they asked the people the three questions: how did they people how did they keep their motivation for continuous learning intact? So they did the research on that people on LinkedIn. They're saying some 5-6 reasons they are doing. So first one is, for those people, learning is a personal agenda. The people, those are having learning is a personal agenda, continuously learning, you need not to follow up anything on that, because they have a personal agenda, right? Second one is form your own small group. So you always form the group that, so create a group of individuals with similar learning interest. It makes learning much more interesting instead of you learn alone. Third one, learn with your personal purpose. I should have personal purpose. What is your personal purpose? Whether I want to get a degree, whether I want to clear IAS exam, whether I want to clear the GRE exam, so whether I want to improve my brand image, So I have a personal purpose why I do this activity, why I want to clear civil service exam, why I clear TNPC exams, why I want to create a GATE exam, why I want to create a GRE. So though people having this personal purpose, the learning is happening automatically. And learn beyond the job. Yeah, some people as a hobby, as a voluntary service, they do that. So when you start working on these hobbies, developing the hobbies, and you yourself put a voluntary service, definitely a lot of learning automatically will happen. So those people in the LinkedIn profile, they are telling this is one of the important reasons. So learn beyond the job. And on teach to learn is a final, very highly impactful method of learning that. So when you want to teach for others, definitely your learning will become deep learning will happening. There is no doubt about it. So what I'm taking that as a teacher we do that, but we have to make the students to teach for their students. That's what I want to emphasize that. If you want to become a highly successful learner, you have to teach what you learn. What you learn, you have to teach for the others. Because when I want to learn, that understanding that the learning methodology, learning technique will be different. When I want to teach to others, that learning style is totally altogether different. So, whenever you want to make the learners highly impactful or highly successful, put them into the teach to others, so that when they start teaching to others, definitely their learning will become meaningful learning, deep learning will happen. That we call it as so coming to the next one is this pedagogy coming back. So what is that pedagogy is that? Pedagogy is something that considerable time, energy, effort to master explanatory, interpersonal and communication, conflict resolution skill all need to be sharpened. How to deliver the content. So I know mathematics, I know physics, I know history, but I should know how to make my students to understand the particular concept. That we call it as the pedagogy. It is not what you know, but what you can do with that what you know. How you can make your students to understand, because understanding level of the students are very unique. No two students have the same set of characteristics. No two students have the same set of characteristics. No two learners are having the same set of learning styles. So we have to understand the learning styles accordingly. We have to teach. Now, what is this pedagogy that recently that 2018 that in Harvard University, one professor that Amila Peterson has done a lot of research and give the new definition of this pedagogy is that pedagogy provides a framework for the multitude of decision teachers have to make about how they teach. So decision teachers have to make how they teach. That's very important that. So, can anyone participants read that statement definition as teachers is there? Please, anyone participants, please. Anyone participants, kindly please read the third paragraph. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, please. Third paragraph, please read it.
Yeah, so the one which is highlighted in red, right?
Yes, yes, please.
Yes, sir. So as teachers, we have to make a variety of decisions on how to teach our discipline or multidiscipline course, about selection of learning resources, content delivery strategies, student collaboration and engagement, learning activities, selection and integrated use of media, including social technologies and social networks, design of appropriate assessment strategies, among others.
Yeah, this is the complete definition of what is pedagogy is there. So most neglected part in our teaching learning system is pedagogy is that, right? So as I told you, you need to write the script. before going to the class. For example, if I want to teach about this, how this generator is working. Of course, generator is available in every place. No? So as part of this curriculum, the course, I want to explain my students how the generator is working. So first, what I should do when I go to the class, whether so you have to write the script like the how these people are writing the script for the movies. If you take any family, any movie, if you take, if you're able to ask me the stories, you can tell the stories, but the scene by scene coming in the picture is not the story. Story is okay. Story is, if your story is there, but what is the first scene? What is the second scene? What is the fourth scene? What is the scene by scene? The script, that we call it as the screenplay. That we call it as the pedagogy. Story is different, script is screen by scene, script is different. Similarly, our subject content is different, how you deliver the content is totally altogether going to be different on that. So for example, if you want to teach this how the generator is working, then what you do that first you want to teach the theory part and you want to take them to where the generator available, you want to explain each part, or first directly you want to take them to generator, you show them these are the different parts, and you please bring all the students to the theory class, you teach how the generator is working on it. Or you want to take them to the generator, you see this is the first part, then open the theory part there itself. So this is what this is working at, this is the theory is there, then on the spot you can explain the generator showing the different parts, theory as well as the practical you're teaching that. So this is what you have to decide upon that. So most of the time we always used to go to the theory class, we teach only theory part, lecture only the board, chalk and board, most of the time we are using that. Now please understand is that no technology can replace the teacher, no technology can replace the chalk and board, but now we need to introduce the new technologies, new teaching methodologies in our teaching process. Not only the chalk and talk method, not only teacher can work on it, that 100% will not work out. We need to at least give some space and time for the new technology in our teaching process, new technique in the new media, new content we have to introduce in that. That's why we call it as the pedagogy is there. But ultimately, teacher has to coordinate, teacher has to facilitate all the things. So no technology can replace teacher. No technology can replace the chalk and board. But how effectively teacher can use the technology, how effectively teacher can use the different teaching methodology, that matters a lot. So three components of pedagogy is there. So there's a relationship between the first curriculum, pedagogy and learning theories. So curriculum, we know that we are already familiar with what is the curriculum and syllabus we have that. So what is the methodology we want to use, each topic we want to introduce in the classroom. How to select the pedagogy, again you can take the help of the different learning theories. So this is the way all the three are getting connected. Curriculum, pedagogy, learning theories. So learning theories will explain you the psychological part of human being, how they learn it. Pedagogy says that in which methodology, teaching style, techniques will be applicable for this particular concept will tell you. You know the content, you are the teacher, now you have to connect this particular content, this particular concept, how I can make them depending upon the understanding level of the students, which learning theory will be applicable, which pedagogy I can able to use for this particular understanding level of the student. Teacher has to decide on that, combination of that. So this is what we want to talk about the pedagogies, right? So this is some of the examples of the pedagogies are there. And moreover, I can give this one website. This is just to make a note of that. A list of 107 effective classroom teaching strategies. Helpfulprofessor.com is there. So if you go to the website, you can have this 107 pedagogies are there. Beautiful website is there, helpfulprofessor.com. So if each pedagogy, the name is given, definition will given, example will given, how we can go about inside the classroom also beautifully given that. So over the period of time, you please understand all the 100 pedagogies, different pedagogies. It takes time. Over the night or over one semester, one academic year, it's not possible to master all the things. So, but you always keep, this is one of the learning goal for you. This is one of the learning goal for you, because you know content already was familiar. Now pedagogy is the new area for every teacher. This is the new learning goal for you. Within one semester, how many pedagogies you want to learn? According to your convenience, you fix. First, fix the goal. So, this semester, next 3 to 6 months, I want to learn 10 pedagogies. Fix the goal, plan accordingly. Before the end of the semester, master in 10 pedagogies. This is the learning goal you have to fix it on. So, learn different things. Then, another. Now coming to the learning theories. So there is an effect called the prodigy effect is there. How you can learn by teaching others. This is what we'll already discussed. So one of the thing is I want to teach for others. When teaching for others, my learning is altogether different. So that we call it as the prodigy effect, right? Yeah. Next one is this psychology of the this yeah. So there is a difference between how I learn and how I learn if I want to teach for others. So that we call it as this. That is psychology of the prodigy effect is there, right? Second, next one is this. Next one is the self-efficacy theory is there. How well one can execute courses of action required to deal with the prospective situations. Self-efficacy means so individuals belief whether I have the confidence. The self-efficacy is beyond the confidence. I have the confidence. I have this belief that I can able to make a difference among the students, my students. That we call it as a self-efficacy. So just please go and this is a psychologist Albert Bandura has introduced this self-efficacy concept for every teachers, right? So what is your self-efficacy? Do you have the right kind of belief system? Do you believe yourself you can make a difference among your students, learners? That matters a lot, right? So self-efficacy, a person's belief in their ability to succeed in a particular situation. How we are going to develop that? It may be another learning goal for individuals. So another learning goal is you want to develop the belief system so that I can able to succeed in any particular situations, or I can able to create the right kind of impact among my students. So believe in yourself. This is another concept introduced in this in terms of self-efficacy, that educate thinks that believing its own ability can be vital in measuring cognitive strength, your thinking strength. High self-efficacy has numerous benefits to daily life. So not only we need to develop the self-efficacy among our students also. So it gives that resilience to adversity and stress, and healthy learners lifestyle habit, it creates that improved learners performance, and finally the educational achievement. So high self-efficacy has enormous benefit for every individuals. And learning theory is the first learning theory introduced by Thornge's stimulus response theory. It boils down to the two things. One is stimulus and response. So when there is a stimulus, circumstance, difficulty, conflict, fear is there, we have a choice to respond for the situations. What is the choice we choose to respond to the situation? That will every choice we choose to respond to the particular situation will give different types of learning. That is a very basic learning theory is there. First fundamental learning theory is stimulus and response. Stimulus means the situation created something like that. So how we react or how we respond to the situation. Each response will give the different types of learning will be there, right? So all learnings depending upon the strength of the relationship between the stimulus and response, right? So what is how much strength we can able to, because this is very important in terms of decision making, human behavior, human nature. So what is the relationship between our stimulus and response that will give the different types of learning? This one, the learning theory is there. So again, this has three concepts about the stimulus response theory of learning. One is the law of effect, law of exercise, and law of readiness. Law of effect is this, states that if response to stimuli produces a satisfying effect, people will repeat it. That's why I told you that instant gratification. If you give the instant gratification, people repeat the same thing. If you don't give any instant satisfying effect, people will not do it. If they are otherwise, if you have this unsatisfying effect, people will not try to avoid it. So we call it as the law of effect. So we have to ensure that every time that if you want to learning has to be happen, we have to give the satisfying feedback. Second one is the law of exercise. So if the unsatisfying effect is in terms of punishment, then the connection between the stimulus and response will be reduced. So how many number of times people try to connect between the response and stimulus is matters a lot, right? So next one is the law of readiness is there. So relationship between the stimulus and response is strengthened based upon the readiness of the learners. If the learners is not ready, the strength will not be happening on that. This is the basic one of the learning theory of called stimulus and response theory. Second one is another is the cognate is introduced the 9 stages of cognitive process. So step by step it goes from concrete to the abstract or minimum less difficult, less complexity to the highly complex. 9 steps are there, starting from gaining attention to providing learning guidance to the enhancing retention and transfer. So the last point, that enhancing retention and transfer is the important education goal. There are 2 important education goals. One is the retention of the basic information and another is the transfer of the knowledge, which means that application of the knowledge. So this is the 9 step. If you follow the 9 steps step by step, definitely the learning will happen. So there is a well-proven methodology introduced by the Gardner in 1984. 9 steps you have to introduce. Definitely at the 9th step, learning will happen. Meaningful learning will happen. Meaningful learning. Again, this is 8 conditions. Cognitive introduces 8 conditions of learning that, like a signal learning, stimulus response, chaining, verbal association, multiple discriminations. So if you go to the website and need to find out that what is the 8 conditions of learning introduced by Cognitive, you can able to easily identify that. I don't want to read what is available in the slide. Just I want to create only the awareness. Now you can go and explore further what are the different things on that, right? And again, this learning theories is one. Pamela Rogman of University of Phoenix is out of her research. He find that just I told, no 2 people are the same. No 2 students learn in the exact same way or the exact same rate. I told you, no 2 human beings have the same set of same characteristics, right? So what we want to do that. So sound knowledge in multiple learning theories is first to this, and another reason why great teachers work their entire careers. So if you want to become a highly successful, effective, inspiration teachers, you must know have the sound knowledge in multiple learning theories. What are the different multiple learning theories are there? If you have the deep understanding about the different multiple learning theories, definitely you will become highly effective and inspirational teachers. So this is another theory, we call it as the behaviorism theory. The behaviorism is concerned with the observable stimulus response behavior. If you stimulate certain situations, how the people will respond. So that we call it as the behaviorism learning theory. Second one is this cognitism learning theory, which means that learning by collecting the information from other external data factors like information and data, and processing the data for internally your thought process, how you process the information. From that thought process, what you learn, that we call it as the cognitism learning theory. The second learning theory will be there. So this is a acquisition of knowledge. The learner is an information processor who observes information, undertakes thinking operations on it, and store it in the long-term memory. this is another type of learning theory. So collect the information, process it, and store it in long-term. We call it as the cognitism learning theory. Next one is the constructivism learning theory. That you are constructing the new information, new understanding for the concept you already developed. That's why we always insist upon the people to publish the more number of papers, research papers on that. So the learner builds upon previous experience and understanding to construct the new understanding. That relearn and unlearn and relearn and construct your own knowledge, creating a new type of knowledge. We call it as the constructivism. Another is a humanitism learning theory is there. So it's a learner-centric approach in which the potential is the focus rather than method or material. So what is the focus you want to focus on? That the process. Focus on the process, right? Next one is the connectivism. Connectivism is this in the digital age. Connectivism how focuses on learners' ability to frequently source and update accurate information. So, what is the if I want to upgrade, what is update my knowledge in my area of specialization? What are the different sources I can have that I have to keep continuously go and find out my sources of information? I have to learn that. That we call it as the connectivism learning theory. So what are the different areas? What is the source of your information when you want to update that? I have a variety of information, source of information. I have subscribed to the many of the people's weekly newsletter. I subscribe. So like Siemens companies also Siemens company I subscribe that, so that company is every week or every month they are sharing their newsletters what is happening in their industry. I also subscribe this McKinsey. There is a consulting agency is there, and Gallup is the consulting agencies are there. I am subscribing to their newsletters. So every week they are sending the newsletters. What is happening? What is their work? What is happening in the around world in different industries? They are sending the newsletters to me. So I also visit the frequent websites continuously, so that what is happening in that different field. So that we call it as a connectivity term. This is one kind of learning theory is there. So you can ask your students, so what is the source of information you update your knowledge? So you can ask the people, continuously review it, continuously discuss on that, so that learning will happen in that. So most of the time we do not know what is the source of information, we learn that. So much of the time we only restrict with our university syllabus, our websites, our few websites, or what is the instruction we received from our college authorities. We restrict only that. So you have to go out of that. That's why telling that learning beyond the job. So all these things we need to do, learn beyond the job. What is the source of information? What is happening in and around the world with respect to my area of interest? This another way of learning is there. Then transformative learning theory is there. That this point, the new information can be essentially change our world views when our life experience and knowledge are paired with the critical reflections. What is the new information is coming up, so that my old belief system, I have to rethink my belief system, I have to rethink my assumptions, I have to rethink about my thought process. That's very, very important, that, right? So for example, this chatbot is coming with the new information near that generative AI and digital twins and metaverse. These are the new technologies coming up. People always telling that these three technologies, how is going to affect our education system. Digital twins, generative AI and metaverse. These are new information coming up. So how it going to affect our education system? We have to be have a deep understanding on that. By understanding how these three technologies going to affect our education, definitely the learning will happen. So this we call it as a transformative learning. Social learning theory is there. So take the people to the social, now this national education policy is insisting upon this social learning is very in the great sense that outreach in terms of outreach programs. Definitely you come across this, and the NAC is also giving some weightage for outreach programs. So when we take the learners to the outreach program, mingling with the society, mingling with the society, social problems, because of that mingling with that, solving those social problems, lot of happening, learning will happen in that. So this is another theory is that. So how many outreach programs we take our students, how many social learning we create the opportunity for our learners, that matters a lot. Experimental learning theory is there. So this is we want to do experiment. How many times we allow our learners to go whenever the flood is coming, or some crisis is coming, or some traffic. So traffic is very order of the day is there. So how many times we allow our learners to go and help to ease the traffic? So of course, we do normally in the name of NSS, we do that. It's also a kind of a learning that. So experimental learning is very, very important for every learner. So these are a different learning theories. Once you know that, the same concept, what you, not only in the syllabus, we can stick on to that. So out of the syllabus, what are the learnings it's required for our learners? We can can give the sufficient space for the learners. We can create the sufficient number of opportunities for our learners to have different types of learning on that. So how these educational theories influence the learning is matters a lot. You see, determining how much collaboration will happen in the classrooms, helping educators, administrators, students, parents align on learning goals and learning outcomes. There are plenty of uh, different educational learnings will highly influence the learning process. Most of the time, we see only the mark in the examination because that is a tangible. So how we are going to measure the intangible learning, we have to devise our own methodologies because of the different learning theories. So tangible learning, intangible learning, how we go to measure, that matters a lot, right? So coming to that, so ignorance. So why we want to talk about learner-focused learning, different types of learning, quality learning, different types of learning, three types of domain, three types of learning, different learning theories and all. The more you learn, the more accurately aware you become of your ignorance. So when I have to give the exposure, the awareness create among all these things, we should know, come to know that, oh, these are the things I do not know. So many things are available on that. So how do you come to know that I do not know so many things available in the world? Only when I start learning one by one. So when I start learn one by one, I came to know that yes, I am not aware of so many things. Still, I have to learn a lot of things. This is one of the important things is uncover unconscious incompetence. What is that? So I am holding some position, I am having some responsibilities, right? I'm not able to accomplish particular task. I'm not able. I find it difficult to deliver the performance to the expected levels, which means that I find it difficult. Which means that I'm lacking something on that. Even I do not know I am lacking certain things. So I want to deliver certain content. I find it difficult, or I'm comfortably avoiding it, which means that I do not know what I do not know. So I know what I know, what I do not know. So it is the individual's responsibility to know. That is why I use the word uncover unconscious incompetence. So most of the time, other people may not come and tell to you, say, sir or madam, you do not know, you have to learn this. People will not tell normally because there are so many reasons. Unless you have this your friendly relationship, that good relationship you have, people may not come and immediately say you do not know, you have to learn these things. Nobody will tell you. So as an individual responsibility, I know what I know. I know what I do not know. That's very, very important. That we call it as the metacognitive thinking. Metacognitive thinking, that is a self reflection or self awareness. I told you know this during the 5 types of agility. Self awareness, that is why I call it. So in the fast paced industries where this knowledge, skill, competency is constantly updating, we do not know that most of the people will always live in the old school of thought. So if you find anybody living in the old school of thought and beliefs, please have the courage and tell them in the right manner, yes, these are the things you don't have competencies, you have to develop. It is our responsibility is there. And also in my individual responsibility, I have to keep on doing this self-SWOT analysis. I have to understand what I know, what I do not know. So please be aware of uncover the unconscious incompetence. It's a beautiful word coined by some educational psychologist on that. And in the learning organization, and the learning teacher and the learning students that will succeed in the current and future times. You can use the word learning teacher or teacher learner, learning student or student learner, whatever the way, whichever is comfortable to you. Start using these words. This is another way you can facilitate the learning at that. Whenever you attach the word learning teacher, learning student, they always think that yes, I have to learn something on that. That this is the way you can stimulate the learning also. So if you attach the word always, you are the learning teacher, learning student, or student learning student teacher. You can attach either way. You can attach the word. You use the word very frequently in all your discussions, meetings, classrooms, different forums. You can also make a poster like this and put it in different places. so that that mind is always strike you that yes, I have to learn what I learned today. I have to learn what I learned, what I'm going to learn today, or what I learned today at the end of the day. So every day is you need to ask that, right? And there must be a good you want to become a good listener, learners must be motivated, so no self motivated, nobody will motivate you to learn that, right? And willing to face the challenges and listen carefully and work well. Again, the listen carefully, I told you that you have to give the undivided attention to the incoming relevant information. That is the definition of the listen. I repeat, undivided attention to the incoming relevant information, which we call it as a listen, right? And think carefully. So thinking means this listening. That is undivided attention to the incoming relevant information is the first step for thinking. If you don't give undivided attention to the incoming relevant information, you cannot think. If you cannot think, you cannot take any decisions. You cannot solve any problems. So thinking process is very, very important for the learners. If you continuously learning means your thinking process will always will enhance that. If you want to solve the problems, if you want to take a well-informed educational decisions or personal decisions, you have to think. If you want to think, you have to learn continuously. So these are the other advantages I have to put on that, right? One important is that why this learning is not, what is the biggest barrier is a lack of competency in the language used as a medium of instruction is an important barrier for learning. So first, you have to be master in the language. So lack of competency is the language. So you know this is very important. So focus on improving the language, which language we want to using as a medium of instructions, right? And again, coming back to that learning to know, learning to do, learning to live together, and learning to be. So whatever we discussed so far, all these things only to learning to know the things, learning to do, learning to live together, and learning to be there. This is the purpose of it, right? And again, no one can teach to anyone. Please understand that. This is very, very psychological. No one can teach to anyone. So learn how to learn. That's very, very important. That. So it is the individual responsibility. I should learn how to learn particular things. So learning is very natural. Learning is personal. Learning is very natural. Learning is personal. No one can teach anyone unless individuals think that yes, I want to learn on that. Right. So this is what I just complete my discussion on learner focused learning. So we discussed from the beginning, the first session start with this definition of this learning, learner and focused. We discussed about the 6 qualities of quality learning, 6 component of that. And we discussed about these differences between the performance goal and learning goal. And we discussed about these 3 domains of learning, this cognitive, psychomotor and affective domains. And 3 types of learning, that no learning, rote learning and meaningful learning. And we see that what is the learning agility, we discuss about that 5 types of learning agility. And learning and development, whether the learners are actively engaged to attain the learning goal or actively disengaged or disengaged, it matters a lot. And the 3 important concepts of this blended learning, that face-to-face learning and self-learning and online collaborative learning. So any course, if you want to take it up now, not the teachers need not to have 100% class to physical mode. We need not to teach up. We have to divide the weightage we need to give on that. And how this learning organization has to be there. That is, individuals learning matters a lot. That learning organization is very, very important. That and pedagogy is, yes, what is the basic definition of pedagogy? How to teach a particular subject, how to do that. And I introduced that one website. I clarified that so that in the next one semester you fix as one of the learning goal is that at least you should be master in 10 learning pedagogies, 10 different pedagogies. And we have, of course, about 10 different learning theories. I just pointed out, I'm not discussing in detail that, just create only the awareness that now I see that individual responsibility to go into dig into that. If you want any further go deep understanding about any particular topic, you can very well Google it. You can able to find out the right kind of books available, plenty of material available, or anytime you can ask any kind of clarification. I am most welcome to all these things. So with this, I am completing my this. Thank you very much. Any questions? I love to answer the questions. Thank you. Any questions, please?
Yeah. If there are any questions, the floor is open for the question. Yes, we have a question here, sir.
Please.
Anu madam. Hello.
Sir, good afternoon, sir.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
It's a very nice session, sir.
Thank
But
you, sir.
one simple question is there.
Please,
What
sir.
is the characteristics of growth mindset? Can you explain little more about growth mindset?
Sir.
What are the characteristics of growth mindset?
So, there is no characteristics like this. So mindset, depending upon the activity, it vary. Same person, same I am. Towards this particular activity, I have the fixed mindset. For other activity, I have the growth mindset. It's possible. So when I am not able to deliver the responsibility with respect to the expected performance, your mindset may be one of the reasons. For example, if the exam cell is conducting the examination, you are asked to submit the question paper on Friday. So which date you want to, what is your thing, immediately think comes in your mind. When I ask, kindly submit your subject question paper on Friday, what immediately comes to your mind? Hello? Hello?
Sir, my point is that because one is a fixed mindset, that means fixed mindset is natural or it
No,
is
sir.
a student or the learner is making it.
No, sir. See, when I ask, sir, when the exam cell asks you to submit the question paper on Friday, immediately what do you think? What comes in your mind? Please tell me.
My point is that how to develop growth mindset as a teacher.
I'm answering your question. Please answer my question. Through this example, I can able to understand, make you to
Yes, see,
understand.
see sometimes we are stagnant in some point of learning in a classroom. We are
Sir, please.
reluctant to learn it also. That
No, sir.
means it creates
Uh,
a hindrance in our growth mindset. So how to evaluate that there is a hindrances in our mindset?
Sir, please, to make you to understand, please answer my simple question.
Please tell me.
When the exam cell asks you to submit the question paper on Friday, what immediately comes to your mind?
Yeah. Sometimes if examiner is asking, we are preparing sometime. Sometime we are trying to deviate it.
When you deviate it, you have the fixed mindset. If you submit it well in time, you have the fixed mindset.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
You understand?
That's for
Everybody having all the mindset. Depending upon the activity, we have to change. No, there is no one person having completely all the time my fixed mindset, completely growth mindset, not like that. Do you understand, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, please? That's why I'm taking this copy. Sir, it was a very enriching session. One aspect as a teacher, what I have seen is for students, learning is only a process to for getting employment or for higher studies, and the actual essence of learning gets lost. It is like you just teach us what is needed, you give us important questions, and then you ensure that we get good marks in the exam. So the basic essence of learning is diluted. So how do we address this? I mean, this is a common thing that is faced by most of us. So how do we address this practically in our day-to-day teaching?
Madam, this the moment people are introducing the outcome-based education, accreditation, and this even this NEP 2020 also, I'm sorry to say that they focus only on people getting a job.
Yes.
They, yeah. Now this NEP is saying we want to create the students as a holistic education. Now they want to give. So far, we have been focused only on people to get the immediate job. That is why this accreditation is outcomes are there. But learning not only happening inside the classrooms, it is happening 24/7 in all places. Wherever we go, the learning is happening. So now this in this learning, the definition of the learning is continuously changed. The definition of the learning coming to the classroom with respect to the classroom is only limited to getting marks, getting the job. As a teacher, we need not worry about what is the learning happening for the students outside the campus. It is their responsibility. They will learn all over the world, 24/7. Previously, it was there, the long golden years, golden days. The learning is completely happening under the teacher, under the institution. Now the concept has changed after introduction of this outcome-based education. And are you clear, ma'am?
Yes, sir. So
We can go.
basically, I'm from life sciences. So this is
Yes,
something that we face. You know, students
it
come
is.
with a mindset that,
It is
learning
happening
is
all over
only to
the.
get a employment
Yes,
or to secure a seat in higher education.
yes,
So
ma'am.
getting them actually motivated to learn the subject is a challenge for us.
Ma'am, it is not your fault. You need not feel guilty about it. The system goes like this. Now this NEP again want to bring back all this holistic education. They want to bring it back. So let us wait and watch for next 10 years till 2030. How we are, whether we are going back to this golden days, whether we bring the full holistic education among the students. We have to wait and watch.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Just a small announcement. The feedback form has been posted on the chat box for all the faculty members to fill it in. So please fill it in as soon as possible. Thank you. Any other questions?
Yeah, madam.
For the offline people also, there is a link posted on Team Bhavans on the WhatsApp group. Please access it and fill in the form. Thank you. Any other questions,
Sir?
please?
Yes, sir. Please, sir.
Was there somebody asking a question? Venu, sir?
Yeah. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are.
Yeah. Sir, in types of learning, we have no learning, less learning, and fast learners and all we have discussed. But we have not discussed about one more type of learning called self-learning. So self-learning actually is the best and most powerful learning.
That's why I told you in the last slide I showed you. Learning is a very personal, sir, very natural. I told you in the last, after all this discussion, that's why I keep that slide in the last.
Okay, okay.
So no one
That I
can
missed
teach.
out.
No one can teach to anyone.
Okay,
So
sir.
learning is very natural. Learning is very personal.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
The link will shortly be posted on Team Bhavans for the offline participants. Thank you. Any more questions, please? We can probably take one or two more questions. Sir, if you're okay with it.
Yeah, I'm working.
Are there no more questions? If there are no more questions, I would now like to call upon IQAC coordinator, Mrs. B. Neraimati ma'am, to please propose the vote of thanks to end day one.
Good afternoon to the August gathering. I would like to thank Dr. Ashokan, Vice Principal Academic, SRM Institute of Engineering and Technology, for having accepted our invitation to deliver his lecture online today. Sir, we are very much enriched by your session today. There were certain aspects that you spoke on, were very enriching. Normal tendency for teachers is that we teach, that is our role, and students' job is to learning. But you have been re-emphasizing that lifelong self-learning is something one should possess. And everyone should know, every learner should know what I know, what I do not know. That is also very, very important for us to have self-introspection. As a result, the teachers also become lifelong learners. And every learning that happens within teacher is definitely going to benefit the student community and in the long run to the society, which will become which will provide a strong nation. So on behalf of Bhavans Vivekananda College, we thank you so very much for enlightening us for such a long session. And all the participants here, I mean, there are around 50 participants in the seminar hall listening to you, looking at you on the screen, keenly listening to each and every word that you have uttered. That's a very clear indication that every information that you have provided is very, very fruitful and valuable. Thank you so much, sir. And I would like to announce to all the participants that tomorrow's session will be on e-content development, and this will be taken up by Dr. Himabindu of Osmania University. We'll once again meet tomorrow at 10 a.m. So this session is going to be in physical mode. So I request all the participants from BBC to assemble in seminar hall, and online participants will continue listening to the session by online, and you will be using the same link as it is provided today. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you very much. Thank you.
So we'll break for today. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.